Thank you for watching EVH. Brought to you in part by VanHalenStore.com. Please be sure to subscribe.
Hi, this is Glenn Mazzari, and you're watching EVH Gear Discussion with Eric Broadbent.
Hi guys, Eric Broadbent. Welcome to a live EVH Gear Discussion on a nice Saturday afternoon. Today's is kind of a question and answer period. I had a bunch of questions come through, both through the website, through my Facebook EVH Gear Discussion page, facebook.com/EVH Gear Discussion, and also through YouTube here as well. So I got a bunch of questions. I'm going to try to answer all those in a timely fashion here for you. First one here today is from a fellow named Bebo Solis. I hope I've got that. Bebo Solis. This came through the website. He says, a message to Eric. He says he can't keep his EVH Stripes guitar in tune. Any suggestions would be appreciated. How do you restring your guitar? Keep up the good work, brother. Thanks. Thank you, Bebo. That's really cool. I appreciate you sending me your feedback and comments to the website and questions. I was just playing my EVH Stripes earlier today, and I haven't had a tuning problem with mine. I mean, everyone has different issues with their guitars. Sometimes they'll have a flawless, no problems, no flaws whatsoever. Other times you'll have minor issues that could be consistent with others. I haven't myself had a tuning issue with my Stripes. Now, I would ask a couple different questions, and you can comment down below, or you can send me some more email through the website. First thing I would look at is, okay, the strings. How often have you changed your strings? Have you noticed that the tuning problem is consistent with a brand new set of strings, with an old set of strings? Okay, you got to try to troubleshoot and get to the bottom of it. So try a new fresh set of strings and make sure you're stretching those strings out like quite thoroughly before you're locking down the locking nuts and everything, because you will find some slack in there and it will go out of tune as well. What gauge strings are you playing? I'm curious. And I'm also wondering if you're using a heavier gauge strings, if you've got your trem, your springs in the back, the tension there, I hope that you have that correct. That can have a fact as well. Now, you asked me how I restring my guitar. When I'm restringing my guitar, I really can't show you like a restringing process, but what I tend to do is I'll obviously cut the balls off the strings, make sure there's none of the wind, cut that off completely, a little bit above the wind. And then when I put it through to the tuning keys, I usually tend to pull about 3 inches off the fretboard, right at the 12th fret. I just use my finger, I pull up like that. I have about 3 inches off the fretboard, 3.5 inches, and that's generally the length of string that I'll use. And that'll end up giving me a consistent 3 or 4 winds on the tuning pegs. That's how I do it. And then of course, then I will literally yank the heck out of the strings to stretch them out, to basically get rid of all that. Because if you don't do that, you're going to go out of tune religiously. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can suggest to you. Those are the first things I would try, but comment back again too and let me know. And I'll be more than glad to try and diagnose this a little further with you. Just got another comment come in, just one moment here, bear with me. Okay, next, so I hope that helps a little bit. Next one I have here is from Fred Berry. Is that the famous Fred Berry? This came through the website as well. He says, your message question to Eric. I'm trying to decide between 2 similarly priced guitars, EVH Standard and PRS Standard 24, both made in Indonesia. How would you describe the differences in sound, pickups, playability, overall quality, etc.? I relish the EVH sound, but I'm concerned whether the PRS can deliver it. Given your relationship with both companies, I assume you would be one of the best to comment on this question. Thanks in advance, Fred. Okay, well, Fred, thank you very much for the question. And yes, I am associated with both brands. I don't do much with PRS anymore. I was actively promoting PRS back, probably a decade ago. I still have an endorsement relationship with them. But to be honest with you, the love is shown to EVH gear for sure. Now, I am going to give you an unbiased answer, and I consider this to be an unbiased answer because I had PRS as well. You can see one back behind me there, back, I guess, over this shoulder, wherever. I can't point right with the reverse camera. You can see the, I've got a flame top CE24 or so CE22. That isn't the when you say CE, some people get the CE and the SE mixed up. The SE is the Korean or the Indonesians, that line. The CE is the American, and that was kind of a rare one back there because it's a CE22 bolt-on American, and that was once owned by Chan Kinchla from Blues Traveler. My artist rep at PRS, when I was talking to them, he was going to send me a guitar, and he says, well, the only thing I've got available for you right now, because I was the lowest guy on the list pretty much for artists, all these big guys, the Santanas and your Nickelbacks and all that kind of stuff. I'm the low guy on the list. He says, I've got a brand new a brand new Korean guitar, and I've got a beat up American. And of course I said, oh yeah, I want a new guitar. So I said, send me the Korean one. And then I hung up the phone. A few minutes later, I thought to myself, well, let's just see what this American one's all about. Called him back, and I said, tell me more about the American one. And he's like, what, you're interested? I said, well, tell me about it. He goes, well, it's a little banged up. It's beat up. It's been on the road, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, really? Like, how bad is it? He goes, well, it's not bad. He goes, we lent it to Chan Kinchla. He is a McCarty player, and he had obviously a bunch of McCartys, and one of them had fallen off a stand on stage and broke the neck off. And PRS really likes to take care of their artists, so they said, send us the guitar back. We'll repair it for you, replace it to whatever we're going to do, and then just because you're not out of a guitar, we'll send you one here too. Now the CE that's back there, the CE22 is not a better guitar than the McCarty by any means, but they didn't want to see him empty-handed. They sent him that guitar. And then they sent it back after that one was repaired, and then now it's in my hands. It was given to me as an artist endorsement, stamped artist stock on the back and everything. And that would have came with the vintage bass and the vintage treble pickups in that guitar, and they hot rodded it. You can see it's probably hard to see back there now, but they're black pickups. That's the Tremolo pickup on the bridge, and I forget what they put in the neck. It was a hotter pickup, anyways. They put some cream pickup rings on it. Really hot rodded the guitar. Very long story short, I do love the PRS a lot. That guitar has a 5-way rotary as opposed to the 5-way toggle switch like a Strat. Now, I've had the Indonesian guitars as well too. I had the PRS Torero. I was posting some videos on my Facebook last night actually playing that guitar. That was a 24 fret, it had EMGs in that guitar, pretty cool. My first experience with the EMG pickups. And I liked that guitar a lot. But to be honest with you, the only thing I didn't like about it, and this had nothing to do with quality, I don't like 24 fret guitars. To me, I don't want to say I'm lost, but yeah, I'm kind of lost on a 24 fret guitar. So that guitar was a hot rod guitar, played great. And your question is, what would I go with today? I really like the Indonesian guitars that PRS is bringing over. I like the single cuts that they're doing, like the Les Paul style. Very, very nice. There's nothing really wrong with the pickups. I'm sure you can get a great rock sound out of them. But let's analyze this again. You say you relish the EVH sound, but I'm concerned whether the PRS can deliver it. Okay, I'm sure it can, and I'd be lying if I said it can't. I'm sure you can get the EVH sound out of anything. I've seen some kids playing some $100, Harmony, pawn shop guitars through like a crate amplifier, and I've heard them getting some sound. It will happen. I will honestly say that the vibe that you get from the EVH gear kind of puts you more in the mojo and in the moment, and you're talking pretty much the same price range. So my opinion, and you can flame me all you want if you think I'm being biased, I would go with the EVH. There's nothing wrong with PRS. Down the road, if you can afford it, if you still have your eye on that PRS, grab it too. I mean, you can buy the EVH and you can buy the Korean or imported PRS and still be less than the price of an American model guitar. So you could have two potentially. So I would lean towards the EVH. And the standards, it's funny, I've had this discussion, and you've seen anywhere in my videos on my page here, you'll see that I'm preaching the standard guitar. I had a buddy last night message me on Facebook and say, what's your favorite guitar you have right now? And I said, you're probably going to laugh at me and you probably won't believe me, but it's the standard that I'm playing right now. It's the cheapest guitar, even with all the upgrades I've done to it, than anything you see back there on my shelf back there. It's the fun factor is through the roof. And that's led me to do a video I'm going to do in the very near coming future, a fun factor. I'm going to grab every guitar I own, and I'm just going to do a quick little bit on each one, and I'm going to say what the fun factor is of this guitar and what inspires me to play this guitar. This one here has got a lot of fun factors, so this one's going to be good. Probably save that one till the very, very end. Okay, so we're going to move on from that one, but I guess the answer, very long answer to that question, was EVH. Okay, and I got a couple of the comments here. I'll see if I can get to those in a moment. Let me just refresh this. Thank you for hanging in there. All right, and bear with me. All right. And the next question is this was from YouTube. A new subscriber of mine, Win Hall. Thank you, Win, for subscribing. Can you give me any tips on how to tremolo pick? I know, pick fast, but I've always struggled with this. I have most of the other EVH techniques down pretty well. I know people rest the forearm on the guitar, and others lock their hand against the bridge. Moreover, I notice that Ed holds his pick with his thumb in, so I'm not sure if I hold the pick right. Any tips are much appreciated. Okay, thank you, Win. And yeah, as I responded to Win, I said, you know what, instead of just answering this on the YouTube, which I will, do eventually, as far as a comment, but I thought I'd, recognize a good question, and it's something a lot of people struggle with, and I still struggle with. When you're talking about Eddie, how he holds his pick, he holds it like this, okay? If you can see that like that. Years ago, and I call it the pendulum approach. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but very few players play like that, and Eddie is a master of that. The cool thing I like about that, if you want to analyze the picking technique, it's balanced, it's in the center of your hand. I'm not even going to attempt it here now because I'm going to sound horrible doing it, but it's very, very cool. And when I was trying to copy Eddie over all the years, I was trying to even copy that, and I can't do that. And why bother? Because I don't play all the notes right anyways. Why make it even worse by using a technique that I can't do? I just pinch the pick like this, okay? I relax my hand. I probably have some of the worst technique when it comes to tremolo picking, or the most unorthodox. It's just, I don't really learn from anybody at all. I just did my thing. So I do keep my 3 fingers kind of anchored like this, as a bit of an anchor. A lot of the time, yes, I'm resting on the trem as well, or on the bridge. And I'll just turn up the guitar a little bit. I just practice little things, like just little simple little runs, down and up, smooth picking, and eventually it gets pretty fast, pretty quick. But we still have the sound there. I think we lost the sound. Just give me a second here. No, we're still good. Hang in there. Little runs like that of Eddie's are great for tremolo picking, just to practice it, and it's something you'll recognize yourself. You'll have fun. You'll like it right away. Just keep practicing. Don't go crazy with it, and relax your arm. If you're not relaxing your arm and using more of your wrist, or not using your wrist, you're going to get cramps and you're going to be shaking your arm out because it's going to hurt. So just try little runs like this. Really simple, and actually it is very simple. Just by practicing that part alone, you'll hear that. If you can keep that, and it doesn't sound like there's any timing changes or anything like that, or notes you're missing. It might sound silly to practice one note over and over again like that, but it helps. And then eventually try another strings. So just relax. Try that. Don't try the Eddie approach unless that's comfortable to you. I guess it's like learning guitar left-handed for the first time. If you've played right-handed, if you switch over to left, everything's going to be foreign to you. So even picking that way, you could probably approach it that way. I don't recommend it. Just go at it slow, simple notes. Practice acoustically too. I'm not sure if you can hear my guitar here right now, but even acoustically, you're hearing the notes really nice. There's nothing masking it. Like that. I got a little bit of fret buzz. You don't hear it through the amp. But I hope that helps a little bit. I'd be more than happy to go over some one-on-one with you sometime through a Google Hangout or anything and try to help you a bit more. But just relax, practice some really simple runs. And there's some other things I do as well too. Just little practice things too that kind of loosen my hand up. I'll do things like this just for warm-up. Oh, I lost my... No, what happened there? All right, well, something that died in my amp. But just little runs like that I'll do just to get my hands loose. And then once your hand and your wrist is relaxed, you tend to be able to get the pretty fast. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right, I'm going to go on to another one here as well. This one isn't a question, more or less a thank you, because I answered a question online the other day. This is from Adam Scheinberg. He says, "Hey, Eric, just wanted to let you know you pronounced my last name perfectly." Good, awesome. I always fear that. Also, wow, I never expected you to air the question. I was listening to you while at work and suddenly heard my name. Very, very cool. And thanks. A local store is selling transparent Blueburst at $5.99.99. I probably end up giving in on my weakness for VH and get it soon. Also, do you reply to direct email or strictly with the form on your site? Yeah, so that his original question had come through my website at ericbroadbent.com. What I try to do, because I've mentioned this a few times to some people, I work a full-time job in radio, and then I also run a multimedia company called Design 39 Media. You can check out what I do there at design39media.com, photography, websites, videography, all that kind of stuff. So I don't have a lot of time, and this extra stuff is it's a passion and a hobby of mine. I'm not really getting physically or financially compensated for it. Sure, there's some perks for some of the companies that I work with, affiliates through EVH Gear and Van Halen Store and things like that, but it's not stuff that pays the bills. In other words, the Hydro Company doesn't take striped shoes for payment, but it's nice because then I can have some cool stuff to show you in these videos. So I don't necessarily always reply quickly. It's usually a couple days. And what I tend to do is I tend to grab a lot of the questions that come through either the website, Facebook, email, direct Facebook messages, all that stuff like I've done here today. And I'll grab a half a dozen of them, and then I'll come on here and I'll answer them all together. And with Adam, I do believe I sent him a personal email and a couple other people as well too. It's hard to be able to give personal replies to everybody, and I will certainly try when and where possible. So there you go. And I really hope you do get the standard, and I think you'll like it a lot. And if you do, let's talk later on about some FU-tone upgrades, because there's some, for a little bit of money, you'll make that good guitar sound phenomenal. Okay, let's get into some more. One of our buddies, our familiar buddies, David Allen Wright, sent a message through the EVH Gear discussion on Facebook, and he says, I have an EVH USA guitar question. Do you think Fender EVH would release a neck through with a Floyd similar like Gibson's Alex Lifeson's guitar? I really think this would be a huge demand guitar for collectors and players alike. Using mahogany wood and a Floyd Rose would make a different sound characteristic. Thank you for letting me ask a question. David, thank you for asking the question. And for those of you that don't know David, David is one of the leading experts when it comes to Floyd Roses and the history of them. We've had a lot of different talks with him. I've learned a lot from him as well. So number one, I think it's a very cool idea. I personally don't think it'll ever happen. Now, I know they do have neck throughs in the hardtails, but whether they're going to have it with a Floyd on it, I can't see it happening. The price tag is going to be pretty high. Now, I love that Gibson Alex Lifeson model. I love that guitar. Because I'm a Floyd guy, I would love to have a Les Paul with a Floyd. That'd be phenomenal. But I just can't see it happening for several reasons. One, the ticket price is going to be high, and it's probably only going to be a couple models, a couple color variations of that guitar. I don't think it's something like Eddie doesn't like to really put his stamp on things that he's not going to play. And I can't see him playing the neck through. I just can't see it for some reason. I think he always likes to have the bolt-on neck. He can remove it, twist it, get in there and just do any kind of tweaks. If you have string spacing issues, alignment issues, it's very easy to just pop off the neck and give it a shim or twist it a little bit, and you're back in shape. But with a neck through, I can't see that happening. You can't do it physically. There is the risk of dropping and breaking it off, all kinds of things like that. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Every year and a half or so, they tend to be bringing out a lot of new stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. But I don't have a definitive answer for you right now, David. But thank you for the question, and I'm sure be asking you some more Floyd Rose questions soon too. Another question come in once again through the EVH Gear Facebook, EVH Gear discussion Facebook page. This is from Michael Guitarras. He says, "Hey there, Eric. Question for you on some EVH gear. I have the 50-watt 5153 amp, and notice after 3 hours of playing, my sustain on any guitar I use dissipates. In other words, I guess it goes away and fades out. Are you aware of this issue? Also, I don't know if you've checked out any of my posts, but I've had problems with my Wolfgang, the Chinese-made guitar. It doesn't stay in tune. I've contacted some guys at Fender, but I haven't really heard the most back. Ideas? And thank you." First of all, thank you once again for your question. And I did get back to him personally through Facebook and said I was going to give him a call this weekend. Going to do a one-on-one, and we'll try to get to the bottom of it. First of all, let's address the first of the two questions. The first one being the amp sustain dissipating. Now, a question I have, and please let me know through Facebook as well again, and we'll do this in person as well too. But one, is it doing it? Has it been doing this all along, or has it been doing it just recently? Question number two: have you changed the tubes? Are you playing this one live? And is this one got a lot of wear and tear on it? Maybe it could be. It doesn't. I can't see it being a power transformer issue. I would suspect tubes first. And have you tried, because it's going away after a length of time, I wouldn't suspect cables or patch cables or anything of the like. But if you also tried playing direct with it, with nothing in the loop, just plugged in, that alone there would tend to isolate some problems as well. So try that if you haven't already. Try with nothing in the loop and just see if you get any issues that way. After 3 hours, I mean, that's a long time playing. I mean, there is a lot of heat on that amplifier. I don't know if anyone else has that problem after long periods of time playing. Please comment down below and let us know that, you know, your feedback can help us as well too. I don't have a definitive answer on that one, but we'll certainly ask around and we'll get to the bottom of it. And when I call you on the guitar issue, we'll see if we can get through this one as well too. But tubes, things like that, it's the first thing I would look at. Now, your question on the Chinese Wolfgang. I don't have a Chinese one. I have the Indonesian one here, and I have a Japanese one back there. And I haven't had, okay, I'll start with the Japanese one. I haven't had tuning issues on that guitar whatsoever. Now, the standard here, which is close, this is Indonesian, close to the same country of origin. I did have some tuning issues on this one once I put the D-tuner on it. And what was happening there was the D-tuner, when I would engage the D-tuner, the fine tension, the fine tuner tension plate that was under there, by engaging the D-tuner would either loosen the tension or raise the tension, and that fine tuner plate would be shifting just millimeters, just tiny millimeters, but it was driving me insane because that shifting was giving probably about a quarter of a tone out of pitch, and that's horrible. If you're in a band situation, you're playing, you know, your guys are gonna be looking at you going, like, "You're out of tune, dude. What's up?" So I did several things on this guitar to eliminate that problem. Number one, I don't think it was 100% necessary, but where is my trem here? I took off the Floyd Rose Special, and it was a black nickel. I took that one off and replaced it. I actually stole this tremolo. It's the Floyd Rose, EVH Floyd Rose off the Japanese Wolfgang and put it on here. I also removed the fine tuner tension plate. I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? No, I didn't. I have it on this one. There's different things I had tried. I did originally try taking the fine tuner tension plate off that Floyd Rose Special, and that didn't solve the problem. But by putting on the new bridge, I also put in a trem stopper from fu-tone.com and putting that in the back. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but I just pushed the bridge forward just a millimeter or two, and I gave that kind of my new kind of 0 point, if that makes any sense to you. Because what was happening was, if you were to yank on the bar, you pushing backwards, it would still raise and pitch. Now, people are going to say, yeah, you didn't have your springs tight enough. The springs are tight, as you can see. There's not much room left. The springs are tight, only 2 springs, but they are tight. By putting in the trem stopper now, I cannot pull backwards. So that gave me a new 0 point. That's one thing I would try. First, right off the get-go, the trem stoppers I think are only around $25. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but go to fu-tone.com, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it certainly can't hurt. If that doesn't solve the problem, it's a blessing in disguise down the road for other problems you may encounter, but that could help right off the get-go. Sometimes you'll notice too, this varies on a lot of different Wolfgangs. Fender's doing this on some of the guitars, and not consistently, but on some of the guitars on the fine tuner, I call like the fingers, the fine tuner tension plate that's underneath there, you'll notice that on the low E string, it's cut off. When I was taking apart the Japanese Special, I thought I'd broke it. The one was missing on the low E string, and it was a clean cut, but I thought, oh, I broke it. And I was kind of upset with myself, thinking, how could I be so careless and break that piece? But I didn't break it. It was cut off. It was snipped at Fender. Through some research, I've noticed they started to do that on some of the guitars, just for the D-tuner, because they were having D-tuner issues on some of the Wolfgangs. Now, the standard wasn't made, what I shouldn't say wasn't made for it. It doesn't come equipped with a D-tuner, so they left it on that one. So in the process of trial and elimination, I got to the tuning issues by, one, I swapped the bridge. I don't recommend you have to swap the bridge. That's an expensive move. You shouldn't have to do that. Possibly look at the fine tuner tension screw, get that trem stopper, and I think the problem will go away. And I know you're a serious guitar player. You've been playing for a lot of years, so I'm not gonna go over the trivial things that, because I know you've probably tried them all. I'm not gonna tell you about checking the tune, checking your strings, checking new strings, checking intonation, all those kind of things. I know you've done that. I would look at the trem stopper and see if that has anything to do with your problem. I'm going to call you for sure. We'll do a Google Hangout one-on-one off the air, and we'll get to the bottom of it for sure. I'm sure between both our brains, we can rectify that problem for you. All right. So I've got one other one here too, and this fellow, I'm going to leave his name out. I don't know if I certainly don't want to embarrass him. He had sent me a message through the EVH Gear EVH Gear Discussion Facebook page. He says, I recently purchased an EVH Circles. I had some concerns after removing the pickup ring. Since the pickup is mounted directly to the guitar, I removed it. This revealed what I thought was damage to the paint job around the pickup. Long story short, it was just some overspray from the pickup cavity. Nonetheless, I was not impressed that a superior company using my hero's name would let any detail go. I spoke to someone in support. They were polite, but, and what did they say here? Not cool as to my expense due to traveling from such and such in Pittsburgh. I want to say exactly where he lives. Just to inform you, there was an hour travel time one way. I bought the guitar, a striped case, 2 leather straps, and 3 colors of EVH picks. All I wanted was a token of appreciation for going to get my newly purchased guitar looked at. Just something cool from EVH for being a customer fan. He goes on to say he's played with different bands and endorsements and things like that. Very, very cool. I'm not sure if you can help me or just direct me to someone higher up the EVH chain of command. I also purchased the EVH mini guitars, all 3 types. Okay, fantastic. First of all, thank you for the long email there. Thank you for your purchase for the EVH mini guitars. I'm not sure if you got them from evhminiguitars.com or the vanhalenstore.com. Either way, I'm sure those guys thank you. They're very, very cool. As far as the overspray in the cavity, okay, I've never taken my stripes apart, so I've never gotten in there to have a look at anything in detail, and nor am I probably ever going to. Everything works. Why break what works or fix what's not broke, whatever. That's going to happen. They're not a $3,000 guitar. They're not a $2,000 guitar. I'm not saying that people skimp out. And these things are, heavily, they're cranked out pretty substantially, not mass produced, but they're out there in larger numbers. It's going to happen. I would just continue to call back Fender customer support. Long before I became an artist on the EVH roster, I had some Fender issues, and I would call them and I would talk to the customer service. And I could not believe that I was nobody to them. I was just a customer. I maybe you just have to try. Everyone has a bad day at work. Maybe this guy had a bad day and just didn't want to help you. Just call him up, be sweet to him, and say, I love the products. I plan on buying more. You're telling your friends about the product, and you'll get the right person. But I don't think there's not much you can do for a little bit of a bad paint, overspray, or things like that. It's going to happen. Even in some of my guitars, I've noticed like some of the cavities, there might be some couple little rough pieces of wood or something like that in the finish of the cavity. I really don't care. I mean, do I want it perfect? Yeah, but it's never going to be perfect. And each guitar is going to have its own characteristics. So I'd look at it like that. As long as it's not making the guitar not play, I wouldn't worry about it. And you're not spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on it. I mean, I that may not be the answer that you're looking for, but it is what it is when it comes to the dollar figure, I think, right? So yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. But obviously, you're a big supporter of the brand. And buying all that stuff is very, very cool. Just keep at it. Keep calling customer service, and I'm sure someone will get to you and give you an answer that is satisfactory. Let me just have a quick look here. I got a couple other comments, and I'll see if there's anything that's pertinent that we can address here. And it's okay there. Nothing happening that way. Got looks like 16 people watching now. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. I've got the daunting task. I've been I bought this desk. I'm slowly out of desk space, so you can't see my desk. I have a nice kind of cherry desk with a nice hutch that holds a lot of my photography equipment and three large monitors. And 1 second here. Oh, hang on. Johnny Bean has just sent me a picture. 1 second. Okay. Yep. Okay, Johnny Bean has sent me a picture of his Stripe series, or his circles, I should say, and he's got some black he's got the black spray in the cavity, and looks fine to me. It looks totally fine. It's got some scratching from where the pickups would be moved in and out in installing them, stuff like that. But I can't see, even with Johnny's, I can't see that being a major problem. If I had that, I would not be upset with it whatsoever. I'll post this picture later on the EVH Gear discussion page on Facebook, so you can actually see it. Once again, that's facebook.com/EVH Gear discussion. And Johnny is sending me something else here. As soon as that comes in, I will address that as well. So I think it's nature of the beast. We'll post that photo and we'll let you have a look at that as well. So let's go back to my desk issue. You can't probably see it back there. I'm going to move a little out of the way, that gymongous box that's behind me. I bought this new desk. It's an L-shaped desk with kind of a granite type top. I really need the space. I bought it in December, and it's been sitting here in the studio, and I'm embarrassed to say, I haven't built it. So Sandra Lee and little Erica and myself, we're going to kind of get in here this weekend and try to build this thing. I looked at it once I took the instructions out. I was like, oh, what did I get into? So anyone's good at building prefab furniture, comment down below and tell me if I should just bail now or what I should do. But anyways, Johnny's saying his came with extra, I think, pickup screw holes, doweled even. He said it's all good though. So yeah, Johnny knows his guitars, and he said if he says it's all good, it's all good. I'm probably going to pick up that Circles guitar down the road. It'd be nice to have in a collection. Obviously it's an iconic guitar. But I really didn't have anything else to bring to you today other than just addressing some of these questions and getting ready to do some things around the house here shortly, including possibly tackling this desk. If you haven't seen the video I did just the day before yesterday, I've got a cool interview with Derek Fuller, who's the guitarist who's Eddie in Van Halen, the world's largest tribute band to Van Halen. Very, very fun interview. I had questions prepared in advance for him a couple days prior, and I learned a lot from him because I played in the Van Halen tribute band before too. And that was my first real experience to the big time as far as doing a pro product on stage, and I learned a lot from that experience, and I learned even more from Derek. Like, those guys are just phenomenal, and big shout out to Derek and the guys because they're playing with Mark Stone, Van Halen's original bassist. He's gonna be joining them for 3 songs tonight at the Viper Room. So if I'm not sure if there's any tickets left, and if you're in that area in California, be sure to get down there. It's gonna be a great show. Looks like some beautiful day too. So check that video; it's awesome. So anyways, I don't have much else to bring to you today, and this was just a off the cuff kind of thing. And thank you everyone for watching, and I will be happy to come to you soon. Be sure to check out the Facebook page, the new page, facebook.com/EVH Gear Discussion. Check out my website at ericbroadbent.com, and go see what's happening over at my sponsors page, vanhalenstore.com. They got some great stuff, and I'm ordering some stuff out of my own expense, out of my own pocket, out of my own wallet. I'm buying a bunch of stuff from them in the near future, and I've got some stuff coming from EVH Gear. My guys at EVH Gear are sending me some goodies. I'm also getting some goodies from fu-tone.com and from Dava Picks. I always see these picks I have on my things. These are the picks I use all the time, Dava Picks. Getting a bunch of those. We're going to have a huge prize package, and it's going to be an end of summer giveaway. It's going to be on my website, and it's going to be really neat where you share the contest. You like it. You share it on your various platforms as well, Facebook and Twitter and things like that. And you'll get a lucky URL. And with that lucky URL, you share that URL, and any one of your friends that enters a contest by that URL gives you 3 more chances to win. This is going to be very, very cool. I don't have a dollar figure on the prize package yet, but it's going to be a nice big Van Halen package and futon stuff, all that. So you're going to want to check that out for sure. I'm just trying to get the last of it together, get it in here, get some photographs, and I'm throwing it up on the website, and I hope to have some some happy winners. It's going to be one winner. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. I hope I didn't bore you too much, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Cheers.